Hi friends, it's me, Claire. I'm going to demonstrate how to prepare rags. You probably don't need to watch an over-the-top explanation of how I chop up old t-shirts so I can make rags to use in my art studio. But who's going to stop you? As I demonstrate a technique that works for me, I'll explain why I need to have cotton rags when I paint. If you need rags for your studio practice or whatever messy projects you have going on right now, I hope this demonstration will help. This video tutorial is part of the curriculum at the unaccredited College of Claire. Is UCK a real art school, or is it simply my academia-themed Patreon page? You'll have to investigate for yourself by visiting patreon.com/KLAIRELOCKHEART. While you're there, you can check out all the art resources I have created for clever people like you. The only things I need include an old t-shirt and a pair of scissors. My goal is to create as many square-ish shaped rags as possible that fit comfortably in my hands. Now, everyone's technique is going to be a little different depending on what fabric you're chopping up and also how big your hands are. So, essentially, the easiest way for me to begin is to start by cutting off the irregular part, the top part where the shoulders are. So if I begin and make a straightish line from armpit to armpit, that makes my process a lot easier. From there, I will cut the lower part of the shirt into a couple or a few horizontal bands. So when I start cutting up the torso, depending on how large the garment is, I could just cut it in half, or I might slice it in thirds. From there, I'm going to subdivide. I'll separate the front from the back by slicing it apart, and then I will cut everything into smaller pieces. So I could cut the torso into smaller squares or rectangles, and then I will deal with the top, which is the least fun because of that irregular shape. I'll cut the front off from the back, and then I will subdivide it into shapes that work best for me. I'm going to begin by slicing off the top part of the shirt. And I'll do that by cutting from underarm to underarm in a straightish line. These are just going to be rags, so it's okay if it's not perfect. This part is not fun to deal with, so I'm going to move it out of my way and work on the lower part because that is easier for me. I'm going to start off by subdividing it. Now, I could cut this in half, but my hands are kind of small, so I want to divide this into thirds. So I'm going to slice off the way bottom, and then I will cut this section in half. From here, I'm going to separate the front from the back, and I'm not going to cut perfectly on the seam. I have tried that before, and I usually wind up cutting into the threads, and that just gets a little messy. I wind up with little tiny threads all over the place. And considering that I primarily will use these rags for painting, and because I do a lot of glazing with my oils, so many thin layers of paint, I do not want any debris in them. Now from here, I could cut this up into fourths if I went in half and then subdivided, but that might be a little small for me. I think I'm gonna go with thirds, and I'm gonna be lazy and cut a few layers at a time because I'm using my sewing scissors. These do not need to be perfect because, once again, they are rags. I am just reusing fabric. that otherwise would pretty much be garbage. Once I have these, I am going to move them out of the way and then grab the top part of the shirt, which is less fun to deal with because of the unusual shape. I'm actually going to start off by cutting this tag out because this is no use to me and it will just annoy me. Then I'm going to slice off the front from the back, and I'm cutting right through the sleeve all the way up to the neck. Now, as I said, I use rags when I'm painting with oil, and I need to use cotton for that. Polyester does not absorb very well. Now, a poly cotton blend shirt, it is okay to use that, but I definitely would not use paper towels because, first of all, I am a millennial and I'm responsible for killing the paper towel industry, but also there's just too much lint that occurs when using a paper towel. It just does not work for oil paint. So whether you need rags for painting like me or other art projects, or you are staining or doing some house refurnishing or restoration, this will be very helpful for you. Now, the sleeves are an unusual shape, and I'm actually going to ignore the seam. What I'm going to do is pretty much cut a straight line and get a pretty decent rectangle here, ignoring the seam. It'll lay flat enough for my purposes. And I will chop off this other sleeve while I'm at it. And then I need to determine what will be the best course of action for shaping this. And I think I could do thirds and cut it and then in half and make 6 pieces. But I think for this, I'm going to cut it in half and then cut it in half again and get 4 pretty decent rectangles out of this. So I cut that in half. To save some time, I'll overlap it and then cut this in half. And now I have a nice pile of rags so I can go make a mess and clean it up. Thanks for watching me demonstrate how I prepare cotton rags to use in my art studio. I hope these directions will help you with your future projects. Please visit the unaccredited College of Clare at patreon.com/ClaireLockhart to find all the various art-making resources I made for you.